سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, all praises and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing us to be here today to perform the Salat of Jum'ah and to listen to the khutbah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower His peace and blessings upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers His rahmah, His mercy upon each and every one of us, showers His hidayah, His guidance, His forgiveness, His acceptance upon each and every one of us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower His rahmah, His mercy upon me by giving me the permission and the ability to deliver the sermon. I remind myself and I remind you, brothers and sisters, that we are insan, we are gharib, we are weak, we know nothing, and we cannot do anything without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, I seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guidance, I seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness, I seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's assistance. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower unto me the quality of tawakkul on Allah, the trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the taqwa, the piety, the iman, the faith, the hikmah, the wisdom, the ilm, the knowledge. And once more the ability to fulfill this responsibility in delivering the sermon or the khutbah. I put my tawakkul, I put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most sufficient. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, chapter 62 of the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. When the call is proclaimed for Jum'ah, hasten to the remembrance of Allah. The Mufassirin, the commentators of the Quran tell us that فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ means the khutbah, the reminder, the Quran, the Hadith, the reminder in the khutbah. So I'm only here to remind myself and remind you, as the khutbah is a reminder. And hence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in chapter 51 verse 55 of the Quran, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind, and by reminding the believers benefit. Which means that if we have iman, we have faith, when we are reminded, we pay heed to the reminder of the Quran and the Sunnah. We do not just let it go through one end and come through the next. A lot of times, some people go to Jum'ah and they let the khutbah pass by like it was just a story. No, فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, hasten to the remembrance of Allah. We should not only be in attendance for Jum'ah, but we should also be attentive. And let the reminder of the Quran be a reminder for us to be a better Muslim. Whatever it may be, we can never, ever stop being reminded. Even the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, used to ask some of the Sahabas to recite the Quran to him. And they would say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, But you are a messenger of Allah. You don't need to recite the Quran to you. He said, but I love to listen to the Quran. Which does not only mean the tilawah, the recitation, but the message, the reminder from the Quran. So hence, I want to just remind myself and remind you brothers and sisters. We are in the days, whether you say it's COVID coming, COVID going, COVID here, doesn't matter. But the bottom line, a lot of people are dying. A lot of people are passing away. A lot of people are falling sick. So, in reality, I would like to remind myself and remind you to try to be very caring and very kind to the people who are around us. Whether it be our wives, our husbands, our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors, whoever they may be. We don't know who will fall sick today, who will fall sick tomorrow, who will die, who will pass away. So whatever little time we have here, you know that. Healthy people fall sick, and that's it. So whatever time we have, please make some extra effort to be extra nice to people. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm reminding myself and you all. It doesn't matter who they are. Our Prophet ﷺ used to be nice even to the kuffar, the disbelievers. He would invite them in his home. He would feed them. Yeah. So, that is very important when we look around what's happening in the world today. Very sad. And a lot of you, a lot of us are relatives and friends and people that we know who have passed away. And that brings me to the point of a very delicate group of people. Very delicate in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the lessons and the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our parents. Yeah. You see, we can either be children, we either had parents, we are either parents. So, the topic of parents at all times got to fit for us. Whether we have no children and we are not parents, and whether our parents have passed away, we still have a connection with parents. Because the Prophet ﷺ says that a righteous child is a means of sadaqah jariyah for the parents. Continuous blessings. So there's no way we can say that the topic does not fit us. Either we are parents, or we had parents, or parents have passed away, but we can still connect. Unfortunately today, I have noticed in my 45 years of Dawah, 45 years. I know I only look like 45, but 45 years of Dawah. I've noticed that a lot of people when their parents pass away, it's like 3 days, 4 days, 1 year, 4 years, and that's it. There's no more connection. So then what is the purpose of the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ says that the dua of a righteous child benefits the parents? The good deeds and amal of a righteous child benefits the parents. Which means we should do additional, fine good deeds besides our normal daily routine and dedicate it for our deceased parents as a means of sadaqah jariyah for them. Now, whether we dedicate or we don't dedicate, they will still get the blessings because we are the children. But to be a little more specific, that helps. My brothers and sisters, really and truly, in recent times, I have really seen this. I mean, unfortunately, and I don't mean kids. I mean people who are 50 years and got parents who are 75 and 80 years. People who are 60 who got old parents. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in chapter 17 of the Quran, verse 23, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Allah says that He has decreed. That's what Allah has designed and set up. That we worship none but Allah and we be kind to parents. We need to make the extra effort, those of us who have parents alive. And if we don't have parents alive, do things extra. Yeah. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Allah continues later on in the verse and says, and speak kind words to them. If speaking kind words are a means of blessings, and listen, it's a command from Allah. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Allah says, and Allah has commanded that you say good words to them. It's a command from Allah. It's a hukum from Allah. If speaking nicely to our parents is a command from Allah, what about being nice to parents? What about being excessively kind and loving to our parents? My brothers and sisters, nowadays some of us are like Siri. You know Siri on the iPhone? Parents say, what's the time? 12:30. What's the weather? 78 degrees. We talk like Siri. No affection, no love, no kindness. It's like asking Google or Siri a question, they answer you. No connection. No heart-to-heart connection. These are parents. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Allah commands us to be nice in our words to them. So when we speak to them, you know how we speak to our wives? Yes, honey. Yes, sweetheart. And then she calls you honey boo because you do everything around the house. If you don't do anything, you are not honey anymore. Do you know parents? You will always be their honey. Parents, you will always be their sweetheart. This is not a lie. They were very interested that I say that. My mom passed away 2 months ago. So about 3 months ago, she was lying on the bed. Subhanallah. We wanted her to sit up. So I tried to put her to sit up. You know, I'm 62 years, alhamdulillah. And she looked at me and said, well, you don't do it. I don't want you to strain yourself. Get some of your boys to come help. My mom is telling me at 62 years, I don't want you to strain yourself. You see the love that a mother can have for a child? What love do you think a mom will have for a child when they're 6 years? 6 months? 6 days? At 60 years, she said, no, I don't want you to strain yourself. That hit me very hard. And I'm like, you can never replace the love of a mother. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, a mother. We can never pay back a mother for one drop of milk that she has given us. Never. Even if, as he told the young man, he said, even if you were to take your mother and make tawaf around the Kaaba 7 times on the back, in the hot, in the sun, that heat, that still cannot pay back your mother for one drop of milk that she has given us. Even if you want to take your mother on your back to Hajj, it still can be done. Subhanallah. Do we let these hadith and words go by? Don't we ponder? Shouldn't we ponder over these words? This is deep, my brothers and sisters. So those of us who have lost our parents don't think we're not connected. We are still their children. Or we should still do good deeds. Build a masjid in their name. Some of us can afford to build a house for $1 million. Why can't you build a masjid in the name of your mother? Your father? Huh? Nowadays you got to beg somebody for God. So many opportunities. You know, that's why we do 100,000 Quran distribution every year, Sadaqah Jariyah for people who have passed away. Well, people who are alive have also done fi sabilillah. But a Sadaqah Jariyah from a mother or a father, we do that in Alhikmat. So if any of you are interested, feel free, let us know. Hundreds of Quran all over the world, thousands. Just to put a name on it and say this is done, a Sadaqah Jariyah for my mother. You know what might happen? We may motivate somebody else to do it for their parents. That's the purpose, the Dawah. The continuation of the Dawah. And the second khutbah will conclude and continue a little more on this topic. You know, in Darul we talk for 45 minutes. We got to do as the Romans do. When you're in Rome, you got to do like the Romans. So if I'm here, I'm going to go 30 minutes, inshallah. I know you guys finish on the top, so mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us Jannah without pregnant Allah to the dawn. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa aqibatu lil muttaqeen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Once more we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing us to be here to perform the Salat al-Jum'ah and to listen to the khutbah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower His peace and blessings upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Again, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower upon us all His mercy, His guidance, His forgiveness, and His acceptance. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept us, Allah, all of our amal fi sabilillah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower His mercy upon me and give me the ability and assist me in being able to continue with the second khutbah, inshallah. I put my tawakkul, I put my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most sufficient. In Surah Luqman, chapter 31 of the Quran, verse 15, Surah Luqman, chapter 31, verse 15, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, and this might be a question in the minds of some people, well, what if we don't have religious parents? What if we don't have Islamic parents? What if we don't have practicing Muslim parents? What if? Well, you know what? We still need to do our duty to our parents. Because in this verse, Allah says, and even if your parents ask you to associate partners with Allah, even if our parents ask us to make shirk, associate partners with Allah, do not obey them in doing shirk. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. But be nice, be kind, be loving, be good with them. See? You don't desert your parents. Abu Talib, the father of Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala, he was an uncle. He was a guardian to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam treated him like a father. Love, kindness, even though he did not accept Islam. Do you want a better example of that? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Talib, never accepted Islam. But because he used to care for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam like a father, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was nice and kind to him all the time. What about us? وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا, chapter 31, verse 50. Allah is telling us we still need to be nice, be kind, be caring, giving, sharing to our parents. So nobody should have an excuse when my mom and dad didn't give me a piece of their land or jewelry or business, so I don't really talk to them. I don't really care for them. They're like my brother and sister-in-law, Akhwas, cabbage. You should not be nice to your parents based on what they give us. We cannot pay them back for just being parents. The Prophet ﷺ says, your father is like the door, Babu Jannah, the door of Jannah. The mother, paradise lies at her feet. The Prophet ﷺ says, woe unto that person who has parents, and especially old parents. You see, it's when parents get old, they get a little bit impatient, and then we get frustrated, and we get impatient, and that's when we try to throw them on the side. And that's where the imtihan, the trial, and the test comes. When they get older, and they have a little complication, then we feel more complicated. And if we don't have an understanding wife, well, she makes it even more complicated for the husband. So, she makes it more complicated. The Prophet ﷺ says, woe unto that person who has parents, especially old parents, and do not use that as an opportunity to get Jannah. Allah Akbar. My brothers and sisters, some of us might be beating our heads here 40 times and we're not being kind to our parents. One smile and one good deed will be more than the 40 times that you beat your head in nafil prayer. I don't mean the first. I don't mean the Ferraris. Do you remember there was a man who asked the Prophet ﷺ to go in jihad? The Prophet ﷺ said, do you have parents alive? He said, yes. He said, being nice to them, taking care of them, doing their khidmah, that's your jihad. So what has happened to this issue nowadays? COVID did not teach us a lesson. So many loved ones passing away has not shaken our hearts. Has not. You see, the sign of Iman, faith, is when we are reminded. It rocks our hearts and makes us better believers to do better amal and better deeds. The Prophet ﷺ said, our parents can either be our Jahannam or our Jannah. Meaning, if we don't be nice to them, it can be Jahannam. And if we be nice to them, it can be our Jannah. My brothers and sisters, to come to the khutbah again, we are definitely children of parents, unless we fell from a mango tree or a coconut tree. And if we are not parents, and our parents passed away, we are still children of parents. We can still be connected to them. Still. Let us use every opportunity to be nice, be kind. And for those of us whose parents have passed away, I don't like to use the word lost, because of the fact that the Quran says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We belong to Allah, and to Allah is our return. Allah has taken back what belongs to Him. You cannot lose your parents if they didn't belong to you. You can lose the love of your parents, but you can't lose them if they didn't belong to you. They belong to Allah, and we belong to Allah. That's why we don't question. the passing away of somebody. And last but not least, as I conclude the khutbah, let's not be like, unfortunately, you guys, you look at the news, you hear what goes on in America, in other parts of the world. People have become so animalistic to their parents. There are some people who shoot and kill their parents. Some people who put their parents out, belittle them. Oh, I remember, whether it's a joke or not, when I was told this by a very old wise man, and I will share this before we conclude. He said once there was this very modern day, sophisticated young guy, university high-tech boy, now getting out of the shell in the world. So he was ashamed of his old 95-year-old father who was a little feeble and old. So his friend came, and the father was sitting in the living room, and the friend ran into the father. Normally he would have put his father in some old room on the side. And when the friend saw the old man, he said, "Who is this old man?" The guy got pause. He said, "That's my father's friend." But the father was a clever man. He said, I'm not his father's friend. I'm his mother's friend. Ask him how he was born. See, we've got to be careful. And be careful. There's a famous Japanese story about a man, because he was pressured to take his father away from his house, whether by family, friends, or whatever, and he took him to an old village in an old house. But when he was taking his father, his little 10-year-old son was with him. And when they came back home, the little son said, "Dad, when you get old, I will carry you right there also, okay?" But the little boy was innocent. He said, "I will take you that same spot that you took our grandfather." So what goes around comes around. Some of us might just be reaping what we did to our parents. But you can make up for that. Do a lot of tawbah. Make a lot of forgiveness. Do a lot of sakajari for them. Inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Allahumma rabbana atina fi dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى ال محمد بعدد من صلى وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى ال محمد بعدد من قعد وقام. وصل على جميع الانبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل ملائكتك المقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. عباد الله، ان الله يامر بالعدل والاحسان وايتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. ولذكر الله تعالى اعلم وحوله واتم وجل اكبر. الله اكبر. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين الله سمع الله